folks, I wanted to share with you an idea that I came up with to use in the classroom. So I had heard about pocket letters right around the time that I was getting ready to go back to school. So I was planning lessons, getting ready to, I was prepping basically. And I learned about pocket letters and I started thinking, how can I use this in the classroom? Because I was trying to come up with some interesting back to school, get to know each other activities, and I thought the pocket letter format was perfect for it. So I went on Pinterest and I found a template that Jeanette Lane, the creator of pocket letters, had come up with for those that were new to pocket letters, and I decided to take that and tweak it and turn it into something that a teacher could use in the classroom for Welcome Back Week. So what I did is made this template, I handed it out to each student and explained also by showing the demo pocket letter that I'll show you in a second. I explained to them what each pocket meant when I was and what I was expecting in each one. So in this very first pocket, I was expecting them to write a letter, and I told them they could write about anything they wanted to. It could be serious, it could be funny, it could be whatever they felt comfortable sharing. And this is great for the first week of school because a lot of times students are very nervous and shy and they're not sure, what they can talk about, or they might want to share something with the teacher but they're not sure how to approach it. So I figured a letter would be the perfect format to do that. I left 2 pockets open. I labeled them miscellaneous and gave them ideas of what they could share if they wanted to, things as hobbies, art, sports, their major, because I teach at a community college. So that I left open so that they could be creative, and the rule that I gave was they were not allowed to spend a single penny on the pocket letter. What they had to spend was time and invest some creativity into it. So I wanted that to be left open so that they could get as creative as they wanted with it. I wanted them to find an object, something free, and turn it into a story about how it relates to themselves. That way we can know a little bit more about them, gain a little insight. Over here in the second row, that pocket, I wanted them to give a tip about either how to be a good college student or how to be a good human in general, a tip for life. So I left that open for either choice. Then I wanted them to share a quote that they really liked with the class in the middle of their pocket letter. Here I wanted them to talk about their favorite food or drink that they wanted people to know that they really enjoyed. This one right here, where you're from or where you're going, I left it open because we're a community college. We get students from all over the place, and so they could talk about where they're from, especially if it's something interesting. Like this semester I have a couple of students from the Virgin Islands. I've had students from the Sudan. I've had students all over the place. So they could share that, or where they see themselves going in the future, like what their major is in school, or both, a little bit of both. And there's other miscellaneous, and then the bottom corner, I told them they had to share something about themselves, at least 3 facts that they wanted the class to know about themselves. So this is the way that I set up the demonstration. I told them, okay, in the pocket letter, you can fold it however you want, and you're not going to read this letter when you come up to present your pocket letters to the class. The only person reading that is going to be myself. These I left blank because they were their miscellaneous pockets, and I told them, if I were to put something in there, people tend to copy that because, they'd like to follow the model. So I left it blank so that they can stay creative with it. For my found object, the object that I left for free, or I found for free, I went to the paint store and picked up a paint sample of purple colors, and I told the students that for the summer I had purple hair. It's the first time in my life that I did something crazy with my hair, and I shared a funny story about that, how it turned into kind of a disaster when I tried to color my hair back to brown, back to normal, when it was time to go back to school. This quote, or the tip, I'm sorry, that I shared, I had a packet of stevia, the sweetener, laying around, and so I turned that into a story. I said, be sweet, but don't be fake. Because one of the units that we study in the class is the food system. And so I talked about how we're going to learn about artificial sweeteners not being good for your body. So just like fake sugar being bad for your body, so is being a fake person. That's also bad for yourself, for your heart. So that was my tip. For my quote, because I am a reading teacher, my quote was, a book is like a box of chocolate. You'll never know how much you'll gain. It was something that I found scribbled on an envelope by the teacher, by my predecessor, and so I loved it. I thought that was such a cool quote, so I wanted to share that with the class. For food or drink, I told them about how I'm a chai tea addict, And I used to always stop by Starbucks every morning on the way to school to buy myself a chai latte. Realized how much money that was costing me, and so now I just make my own. And so there's my little packet of tea that I included there. For the bottom one, where you're going and where you're from, that one I pretended to be a student, and I said I'm going to be a teacher. I see myself being a teacher in the future. And the other miscellaneous. And then the last one is owl about me. So instead of all about me, I had a sticker laying around for owls. I turned that into my 3 facts. And so when you look at the facts, it was number 1, I live in Bisbee. Number 2, my brothers also teach. And number 3, I have weird thumbs. And you can see my thumb right there. I have what are called clubbed thumbs, and so I shared stories about that with the students just to make them laugh and get them a little bit more comfortable around me. So what I did is I gave every student a set of 5 index cards. There are 9 pockets, and when you cut each index cards, the 3x5 one, you end up with, you know, enough to fill each pocket and 1 left over in case you make a mistake and need to start over. So the nice thing about that is this kind of helped me keep it on a budget. Because I have 140 students, you know, it's a lot of money. I had to buy the markers, I had to buy things like that. So I try to keep the cost to a minimum, and so index cards definitely help me do that. So if you have a smaller class, say like a regular class of 25 students, obviously it's not going to be that much for you. You'll probably only have to spend a couple of dollars. And it's a great activity. And let me tell you, with the letters that people shared, it blew my mind. I mean, only 3 letters in, when I started reading everybody's letters, I was already crying, because some people shared some deeply personal things, amazing things about themselves. I have students who are such warriors, and they're so strong, and they're up against so many challenges, but they're at school trying to make themselves better and to prepare their future to be brighter. So again, I just have amazing people, and I'm very humbled by my students. So here are some examples I wanted to give. So here is her letter. This particular student is artistic, so she splattered paint around there and painted a paintbrush. For her found object, she talked about a button, or was it, oh, now I can't remember. She's got the story back there, but I don't want to share it if it's too personal. For her food and drink, she was really cute, and she actually saved a piece of lemon, put it into a bag of tea because she loves her tea. Her quote is right there. There is her tip. I thought it was really smart what she did with the flag, because I teach right on the Arizona-Mexico border, so I have a lot of students that cross over every day from Mexico with student visas to the United States to study at the college. And so I thought that was very smart that she combined the Mexican flag with the American flag to show her 2 cultures wrapped into one. She's into makeup. That's her miscellaneous. And then about me, she included, you know, she's a very girly girl, so she included those pictures to represent herself. Another student who is also from Mexico, she is from a town of Arizpe, created this one, and so hers was really cute. She had some really nice things, including a little letter that she preserved, a little flower, I'm sorry, that she preserved for herself. And, you know, things like keep calm and eat chocolate I thought were very cute. Another student got her own index cards, and I thought these ended up looking great. I gave the students just white plain index cards. She went and got some neon cards, and I think it looks fantastic. It made the pocket letter really pop. Her format was set up a little bit different, but she still had every single pocket that she was supposed to have. She is one of our student athletes, and so she likes to be called by her nickname, T. She's on the women's basketball team, so that's why the basketball is there. And then she's from out of state, so there is her home state. And she just, you know, glued her penny up there, told her story about her found object, which is a penny. So that one I was also very impressed with. I have a student here from Arizona, so that's why she created this one. She wants to be a medical assistant. She's in her college's MA program. She did something really cute with her letter. I had the students get creative with how they folded the letters to me. For hers, she has a little envelope, and it's a heart, and it pops open and the letter's inside. So she created an envelope for her letter, and so I thought that was so smart. So again, some of my students got their origami on when it came time to put that letter in there, and I was very excited for it. Some students, again, remember the rule had been do not spend any money, spend creativity. And so she happened to have all these things available to her, so she created this amazing, beautiful, mind-blowing pocket letter, and it was so gorgeous. And I felt so bad because when she presented to the class, the document camera that displays it to the screen was having issues, so people couldn't really see how amazing her pocket was. But here it is. So a lot of reflection of who she is, her American culture, her Hispanic culture, with San Judas right there, St. Jude. So lots of cool stuff that she shared with herself. And then you're always going to have students that go way above and beyond, and then you'll have students that put about 2 minutes worth of work into it. And the nice thing about having them present is it's obvious to people who worked really hard on it and who didn't really invest the time. And so but again, we all get to learn more about each other, so it's still a good learning opportunity. Now, this particular student is from the Ukraine, and she is such a sweetheart, such a interesting lady, and she's so super duper creative. So let me show you. I won't pull it out because it is a letter to me, so it's private, but her letter was in a ribbon, and she wrapped it around a little stick, which is so creative, so amazing. So I was in love with that. I was like, oh my goodness. She had a lot of other cool stuff that she shared about herself from the Ukraine. For the food, she had traditional food. She made a lot of little collages and things like that. And so, for example, for her favorite food, she talked about, and let me try to focus here. She talked about borscht being a traditional dish in the Ukraine. And she had the ingredients on there. She had a picture of what the completed dish looks like, and then she had the recipe for me to make my own borscht. So I thought that was just absolutely fantastic. It's so exciting. She included a little vial of makeup because she is a girly girl, and so she included a beauty gift, which I was, you know, really touched by. It was like, you didn't have to give me a gift, but she wanted to include that. About herself, she made, you know, quotes. She shared things about her personal life, like her dogs, things that helped us get to know her a little bit better. And then where she comes from, she did the coolest thing. She created, you know, a collection of, let me focus, a collection of things that are important to people from the Ukraine, like the arts, famous people, quotes. She talked about how they go hunting for mushrooms at certain times of the year, the pattern of fabric, the traditional dress, that obviously they don't walk around every day looking like that. When she said that, we all had to have a good giggle because that was really cute. And then she included a bill, and I had told my students, you know, I can't keep money, because some people put in like their lucky penny or, you know, a $2 bill, things like that. And I was like, well, I can't take money from you because I'll get in trouble. But for this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to keep it. I want to keep it. So this is 100. I'm not sure what, you know, the word is for Ukrainian money from the Ukraine. But look how gorgeous this is. And she says it works out to be about $5. So I thought that was just such a cool thing to include in a pocket letter. If you're from a different country, you know, share things like that with the people getting to know you. So anyways, I hope this idea comes in handy for those of you that are teachers and that you decide to use it in the classroom. And again, all you have to do is come up with your own template. This template happened to work for me because it fits, you know, the kind of students that I have, but you might want to tweak it. You know, if you have younger students, you might make it different, or if you teach a particular subject, you might tweak it to be like all science related or history related, whatever you want to do with it. But anyways, it worked out great. I got to know my students a lot more. I was so impressed by, you know, the things that they did and the info that they shared. So I absolutely loved this assignment, and I'll definitely be doing it again. Anyways, thank you for watching.